Hi everybody, it's me Samantha here today with another video on makeup. I purchased the day it was available the new Pat McGrath Celestial Divinity palette. This is what it looks like. It's really cute. It comes with, I believe, 18 shades, and majority of them were previously in the Star Wars collection, and then there's, I think, 6 new ones. I really wanted the Star Wars collection, but I did not have that kind of money. But this came out and I figured it was an opportunity for me to really get to know Pat McGrath a little bit more. I had previously purchased the mini Mothership Rose Decadence palette, and I was not impressed with that palette at all. I have played with this a couple times, and I do now see what the hype is with Pat McGrath. I don't think the other palette was a proper representation of the brand. So again, this has 18 shades, and I believe I got it for $70. It retails for like $75, but there is a 10% coupon, and then of course you have to pay for taxes or whatever. Out of the 18 shades, there's only 3 mattes. You get this pink matte here, this purple plum color, and then a rose toned color right down. It's like a rosy brown shade. And those are the only mattes. That's the only downside to this palette, is that it is shimmer heavy, but I'm not going to complain because I could pull mattes from other palettes for sure, in which I have when using this palette. I actually have been pulling out the new Too Faced Pumpkin palette. Is it pumpkin? It is pumpkin spice palette, and using it in conjunction with this for like some of those more neutral brown shades in the creases. But I do have to say that I'm feeling this formula a lot. So if you want to see me using it, keep watching. Okay, so I brought you in a little bit closer so you can get to know me a little better, and we are going to get started. I thought it would be fun to use all of the Pat McGrath products that I have, which are not many, but I do have a few things. So we're going to get started with primer, and I do not have the Pat McGrath primer because that is expensive. So I'm going to use my No Problem primer from Touch and Soul. They probably, between this one and the Pretty Filter Glassy Face whatever one, those are like my favorite primers, and I just use them most frequently. I feel like they're hydrating. This one really does fill in the pores. They're smoothing, and I just enjoy it. They have a slight fragrance to them, but nothing overwhelming. I had to sniff it because I use it so much I don't even pay attention to that anymore. I'm actually not leaving my house today. I just felt like putting on makeup. It's cold and rainy out here in New England, and it is Columbus Day / Indigenous People Day. I really wish they would just get rid of Columbus Day altogether, but who am I? If you follow me on Instagram, you know that it is very important to me to celebrate Indigenous People Day. And if you don't know anything about it, please go to Google. There's so much information out there that you can learn. But enough about that. I am going to use my Pat McGrath foundation. I keep it in this little box because I think it's so cute. And if the concealer packaging, it was the same, if it wasn't so bulky, I probably would have kept it in there too. But it comes in this cute little like envelope box, and then it comes out like this. I think it retails for $64, and I have mine in the shade medium 17. It has a pump, which is really nice, and I'm gonna go in with this e.l.f. foundation brush. I think it's called an airbrush brush or something like that, but it's really cute. It's new to me. I like it so far, so I'm just gonna keep playing with it and testing it out. I'm gonna put about 2 pumps in the back of my hand. I will tell you, it is very viscous, or thin if you don't know what viscous means, and This is going to be a trick because I don't want it to run down my hand, but I need to hold the mirror. I typically don't use a brush with this because I'm afraid it will pick up all the foundation, and I typically use this with my hands, but it's messy to be doing that, so I'm gonna try with the brush. An initial application, you can see a lot of brush strokes, but it does, we can blend that out. And this is good for me to kind of test it with a new tool anyway and see if I can get more coverage or a different kind of coverage out of it, if it even works. And this is a lightweight foundation. I forget what the description says. Buildable, perfecting coverage, lightweight texture, satin finish, runway tested, mother approved. All of those things are true. I think the coverage is really nice with this foundation, and because it's so thin, you can put a very light layer just to get a little bit more of a perfected skin, no makeup type of look if you want. And that's what I love about this. It's very versatile. Or you can build it up and get more coverage out of it. I'm just gonna take my sponge and kind of go over it. It really is like a Your Skin but better type of foundation, so you can see all the texture and what it is doing for me. So yeah, we're not going anywhere because the weather is just not calling for it, and you know, we don't want to do any indoor activities, obviously, so we're going to keep it like this. I'm going to use the corresponding concealer, which is a little bit more coverage than the foundation, and then it kind of has this flat but pointed doe foot applicator. And I think the shade is really nice because when I'm tan, it doesn't look crazy light on me, but obviously as I lose my tan, it still matches, which is nice. And I'm using a ton, I don't know why. And I'm going to blend that out with my e.l.f. sponge. And I'm making crazy concealer face. It just looks so pretty. You can see I still have a little bit of discoloration there, but it's really not noticeable. So I don't really color correct with this concealer. I mean, I could, but it's not like really necessary. It looks like natural, which I enjoy. Now I don't have my hands on her powder because every time I go to buy it on sale, like I don't want to pay full price for her products just because it's just so outrageously priced. But her stuff is always, when there is a Sephora sale, it's always out of stock for the shade medium in particular. So I'm just gonna use my favorite powder, which is the Huda Beauty, and I use it in the shade Blondie. I don't know why I look every single time, but. And I'm using my e.l.f. highlighting brush for the powder. That's the brush I tend to use most lately. And I'm just gonna set the under eye and just around the nose a little bit. I know a lot of people don't get the hype around this foundation. Maybe it doesn't have enough coverage for them. Maybe the finish is not what they expected, but I love this foundation. I just don't use it all the time because I'm like fearful of getting too used to using it and then running out because it's so expensive and I don't want to buy it again. But I shouldn't be too afraid of that because I don't think I've ever really run out of, maybe once I've run out of a foundation. So we're gonna go into bronzer, and I'm just gonna be really boring and use my Charlotte Tilbury in the shade Tan because that's my favorite bronzer anyway. And I have this Fenty bronzer brush. I've had it actually for a while, and I don't really use it for bronzer. I tend to use it for cream blushes, but today I'm gonna actually try it with a bronzer. So yeah, let's see how it does the bronzer. I typically like a really fluffy brush for bronzer, so this is kind of more tapered, so I don't know. I feel like you have to sweep more, and I'm more of a circles blending kind of person. It does a good job. I think I have to get used to that motion. Alright, I wanted to use one of my nude sticks. I have 3 nude sticks blushes. I have Salty Siren, Beach Babe, and In the Nude. I'll just take off the lids and see what I'm looking at. It's been a while. I think I'm going to go in with Salty Siren because I actually don't think I use it that much. It looks like it's the least used out of them. And I just want to get use out of the stuff that I have, so I'm going to go in with that. I'm just grabbing my like ghetto bootleg Amazon makeup eraser to kind of put on my lap for when I get messy. So this is what Salty Siren looks like. It's a matte blush formula, and it's kind of like a peachy pink color. And I'm also testing out this stippling airbrush brush from e.l.f. And I usually do like this when I'm putting on a cream product. And then I start at the cheekbone and I'll work my way. So I was really surprised the last few weeks when this product first arrived at my house. You know, when I ordered it, I was like all intending on making a video, and then I kind of went blah for a couple weeks there because of remote learning, back to school, all that nonsense. And I just was like, you know what? Let all the big YouTubers make all their videos and whatever. I have the palette. I really just wanted it for myself anyway, and let's forget about it. And then I realized that like not that many people have made a video on this palette, and I was just very shocked about that. So I mean, I did mention in the beginning of this video that I have kind of used this in conjunction with other palettes, but for today and the sake of this video, I'm not going to do that because I want to see what I can do with the mattes that are in this palette. Let me just take a sip of. So we're going to start off with this pink here, and then we're going to go in with this rosy brown shade. We're going to use this shimmer here. It's a pink with like a gold shift to it. We're going to use this purple here that is like a indigo color, and then this shade here. It looks purple in the viewfinder, but it has a like cranberry shift to it. I don't know how I can get you guys to see that, but I'll swatch them on my hands and show you. Hopefully that does it. So this is that purple shade, or in the pan it looks very purple, but you can see here it has like a cranberry red shift to it. This is the dark indigo color, and then this is the pink with like a champagne shift to it. I don't know if you can tell, but that's what they look like. So we're gonna start off pretty simple, and I'm going to use my e.l.f. Putty Primer because it is literally my tried and true lately. It really ensures my makeup lasts. And I know you guys are probably sick of hearing me describe how to use this, how to get the most out of it. Now, I didn't want to bore you with all the details of this putty primer, but if you do want to know what shade I'm using, it's the shade Cream. That's a lie. It's the shade Sand. I grabbed this BH Cosmetics. It's my Ray Ray Fluffy Blending Brush. And I'm just going to use the mirror that's in the palette. I do want to say it has like these ribbons to kind of keep it from flipping all the way open. I bet if you don't like to use the mirror and you, I mean, you pay $70, you don't want to destroy your palette, but if you snip those little ribbons, you could probably fold it all the way back behind itself and then just have the palette in hand if you don't like to use the mirror that's in the palette. It does have like a magnetic closure on it, so it doesn't just flop open, which is nice, but it does not have the names on the palette. It does have the names though on the back. All right, so we're gonna go into that pink shade, and it's actually packing a punch, which I'm excited about. I don't believe that this palette has any of her quote-unquote special shades, and I'm okay with that, because I mean, I think the other palettes really only come with like one, maybe two special shades in it for like $100 and something, and it's like, I don't know if that's worth the money at all. Now this shade is more of a powder, but I felt like when I previously used that kind of berry tone matte in this palette, it's very, very creamy. This is not as creamy, but it goes on just as well. All right, I'm actually going to bring you in a little bit closer so you can see what I'm doing better. Hopefully that is close enough. So we put that dusty pink shade above the crease and kind of on the crease as far as like where my actual eyeball is. As you can see, the crease in my eye is way lower, but I use this as my actual crease in case anybody was curious. I'm going to use my V17 BH Cosmetic brush, and we're going to go into that brown chocolatey rose color. It's chocolate. It has like a warmth to it. That's why I keep calling it a rosy brown. And I'm bringing that slightly up the crease and then bringing it down towards my lash line. I'm going to swish this to get all the excess off, and then I'm just going to use it to blend it out. So that looks really good. We're going to use the dark purple shade for the entire lid, I think, and then I'm going to use that cranberry purpley dual chrome shade for the center of the lid. And I always use my fingers for shimmer. You don't have to. I will say that, I mean, I didn't clean this with a wipe, but it did kind of stain when I rubbed it on the rag. This has a very shimmer, like glittery kind of situation going on, so I might have some fallout. I typically have not experienced that with this palette, so I have used the green shade, also this like dual chrome here in the center. I've used that one. I've used the green shade. I've used this sorry, no, I used this one. This is kind of thin. It's almost like a topper shade, but I've used that, and I haven't had too much fallout with the shadow, so I'm not that concerned. I'm taking a clean brush. This is a Sonia Kashuk brush. I don't have the number on it because for some reason they put it on the plastic packaging on the outside, but once you remove it to actually use the brush, you then don't know what you have going on, so that's kind of frustrating. But all right, I think I'm actually gonna go into that dark cranberry shade and kind of add that to the outside because I don't like how the brown looks. Yeah, that's a lot better. And you can kind of still see, like, I have some veins in my eyes, so I can see it a little bit. I don't want it to look too muddy or bruised, so I'm just gonna diffuse it a bit with this brush with no added shadow. Okay, we're gonna go in with that dual chrome and go over the center of the lid. I don't know if you can see the shift on camera, but I can definitely see it live in the mirror. I'm just going to use this extremely old BH Cosmetic bullet brush. I don't have like the entire set of this anymore because so many of them have like fallen apart, but this one's still holding on, and I'm going to go into the pink champagne dual chrome shade and bring that to the inner corner and up a little. It's pretty. It's not packing the punch that I want it to. I think it does more in person, but I'm just gonna take a facial spray and just spray the brush a little and wet the shadow and see if I can get it to pop a little bit more. So I don't know if you can see that shifting, but this is what it looks like. All right, I know it looks a little bit crazy, but we're going to add the berry color to the lower lash line. All right, beautiful. I'm going to do the other eye so they can match. All right, so I completed my other eye. I put on my eyebrows. I don't have any Pat McGrath eyebrow products, so that is why I just thought I'd just go ahead and do my brows. But I am wearing the Pat McGrath Dark Star mascara, which is one of my favorite mascaras. I do not curl my lashes, but this mascara makes them look curled, more doll-like. I do not wear false lashes typically, so this is what it looks like so far. I did want to use one of the lip balms and the lip liner that I have. I did want to mention, like, all of her packaging is really luxe and beautiful in gold. Like the mascara here, the concealer comes in a real glass, where is it? Oh, this is like a glass tube and not a plastic tube. The foundation has this beautiful frosted glass, the gold label, and the packaging is really stunning, but the pencil's really generic. I think it would have been nice if they came out with something like this. This is the Patrick Ta lip liner. Just an idea to throw it out there. It's not horrible packaging. I just thought that would be nicer. This is a standard pencil. It's not a twist up or anything like that. So we're going to use this. This is in the shade Suburbia. That's what it is. I purchased this because typically if I was going to wear something brown, I have my ColourPop BFF3 that I would use, and so I thought it would be nice to get something that was a little bit more rosy tone. I purchased this when I purchased the Rose Decadence Mothership mini palette thing. And I like this formula. It goes on nice and creamy, and yeah, no complaints. So in the lip balms I have Flesh 3, which is kind of like a rosy shade. I have Nude Venus, which is a nude. And then I have, it has like a little bit of shimmer in it. And then I have Temptress, which is really red. So I'm gonna go in with Nude Venus since the eyes are really bold today. And the packaging for this is like a lavender color. The other one comes in a white packaging. I don't love this packaging because the white on it just looks very Wet n Wild. They have a dupe lipstick with like a fake Pat McGrath. The lips are like all crooked and stuff, but just, I don't know, I just feel like that looks very cheap, and that makes it easy for Wet n Wild to just copy you like that. Alright, so this is the full look with the Celestial Divinity palette and all the Pat McGrath products that I have. I really like it. I think it looks cute, bright, fun. If you're looking for more tutorials on bright, colorful looks, please be sure to follow my other videos. I am not afraid of colorful eyeshadows, and I think this palette is really good. It gave me faith in the brand, which is really nice. I'm gonna play with my Rose Decadence more because I enjoy this one so much that I'm gonna give that one a little bit more of a chance. I was disappointed on my initial use of that palette and really didn't play with it too much after that. I think I only used it one additional time. It wasn't the worst palette, but I was just upset about the cost of it. And even now, I still feel like this one is so much better, but it also makes me feel worse about the other palette purchase because I paid $65 for 6 shades that really weren't that incredible, and this one gave me 18 shades, and with the discount I got it for $70. So this was a way better value if you are just looking to get into starting with Pat McGrath and you don't want to spend the money on a Mothership palette, one of the large ones, which I don't. This is a great start to the brand. I think it was really smart of them to do a palette like this, and I love how thin it is. It is larger in size than a regular palette, but I think it makes up for it with the thinness, and the packaging is really cute as well. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you can come back and see other videos with me. Thank you guys so much for your time. If you made it this far in the video, you don't realize how much I appreciate that. And until next time, thank you guys. Bye.